What is going on, everybody? We're going to get right into it because we had a lovely double feature courtesy of Todd's Terrible Taste in Movies this week. With episode 346, we are going to chat about a little movie called Barbarian. So if you haven't watched Barbarian yet, this is your chance to turn this episode off because we're going to talk about Barbarian no holds barred. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, you don't want to hear us talk about this film, now is your chance to get on out of here. But before we get into the movie itself, I should probably talk about the lovely group of people here sitting here on a Sunday night talking about this shitty fucking movie with me. First of all, of course, welcome everyone to the Past Control Podcast, a show where a couple of best friends talk about the latest in video games and nerd culture. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we talk about Todd's terrible movies too much. Either way, we have a new episode for you each and every week. As always, I'm your host, Brenden Groom, and joining me on this lovely Sunday evening is the anime senpai himself, Mr. Michael Desir. Mike, how are you feeling about My Hero coming to Fortnite?
We'll see how it looks. We'll see how it is. We only saw that one thing and then the pickaxe. So
I mean, it looks like they're gonna.
If it's just Deku, like I don't need to buy Deku.
You think it's gonna be
You're
just
not gonna buy
Deku?
just Deku? If they put Deku in the game, you're not gonna buy him.
No, he's not. He's not even like in my top 5 favorite characters in that show.
Okay, so you think that coming off of the fact that they did multiple packs for Naruto and 4 characters for Dragon Ball, they're gonna do just Deku in an All Might pickaxe?
I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what
they're gonna
do.
give us 4 skins, Mike. They're gonna give us Deku. They're gonna give us fucking Bakugan. They're gonna give us fucking
I want the All Might
Ichigo.
All Might
Yeah.
without his power. Give me that one. The cracked
They're
out
gonna
All
give
Might.
me Ichigo, and
They're not giving
me
us crapped out All Might. They're gonna give us real All Might. I mean, maybe he'll have like a taunt where you can go back and forth or something, but I don't think they're gonna give us fucking stringed out All Might. Anyways, also joining us tonight is the Disney daddy, Dominic 40.
I'm here. It's out of order, but
Yeah, well,
What is
that's what I said. The Disney daddy. We got the Gonzo fucking gondola, Dominic 40. Dom, how are you doing tonight?
yeah, I'm here.
How are you feeling about this season of Fortnite? You excited?
I'm actually literally just reading through a chain of tweets that people are putting up about the new season, and it's either this is the best season or this season fucking sucks and it feels nothing like Fortnite.
This season's
It is
fantastic.
literally completely
How does it not
polarized.
feel like
Like,
Fortnite? Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know.
I mean, it definitely, I think, does a lot of things that Fortnite has not typically done, but I think it all works in that world. And rounding us out tonight is the fucking Callisto Proto Todd himself, Todd Gary. Todd, how are you doing tonight?
I'm just talking about the goat of a movie tonight. So
This is the GOAT of a movie. This is the GOAT.
no.
You heard it.
I just
I'm
wanted-
clipping
I-
it. Clip
I
it
just
out.
wanted to- I
This
just
Todd
wanted
said
to
this is the
make you
best
guys
movie
laugh.
ever made. Todd said that Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino shaking on their boots
This is cinema.
because
No,
because the guy
Scorsese
from The
said
Whitest
this is
Kids You
cinema.
Know made the best movie ever made.
Oh, he's from that. Oh, okay, that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
I never.
Yes. He's from that, and he made this film, this shitty fucking movie. But before we get into that, a couple of housekeeping things. This episode, of course, sponsored by our good friends at Goodnight Fatty. If you're in the Salem, Massachusetts area or the North Shore, Massachusetts, on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening, you want yourself something hot, something sweet, something tasty, something fresh out of the oven, you can head on down to 1 Washington Square, get yourself a delicious fatty. And new on a Sunday night, you want yourself something tasty, a little dinner chubby. Might want to check them out on social media today at Goodnight Fatty. Educate yourself on these tasty, delicious treats. As I said from the top of the show, this is, of course, episode 346, one of our double features for the month of November. We're a little bit late because of the holidays, but here we are talking about Barbarian. But before we dive into that movie, it is December, and that does mean that Mike's pick is on the horizon. So, Mike, if you want to give the listeners out there, reveal the pick so that they can add it to their calendar and get this shit done in a timely fashion this month. What do we got, Mike? What do we got?
I feel like under normal circumstances, I would have tried to make a Christmas movie,
Okay,
or I would have
okay.
tried to pick
Here it is, double feature. Here we go.
a movie that I don't know. I thought you guys quote unquote should watch because the movie picks are about whatever the fucking reason was.
Mike, it doesn't
There
matter.
was
There's no reasons anymore.
No, I'm
There's no rhyme or reason anymore. We're just doing shit because I want to watch Bullet Train and now it's on Netflix, so I'm gonna pick Bullet Train.
Good.
Yes.
Has
No, I haven't
anyone
seen it
seen
yet.
Bullet Train?
No,
We
I'm
have not.
excited to see it.
Wow, look at that. Mike with actual good
Yeah.
picks. That makes sense. Look at that. Wow, fantastic.
I was excited to watch Barbarian.
Yeah, it's
See?
fine. It was terrible.
It's a
It was
movie.
bad. All right, so we'll watch Bullet Train. That's Mike's pick for
Oh, that's a good pick.
December.
I like it.
I don't know what this movie is. I don't know what it's about. So,
Oh, so
Brad Pitt. It's got a whole
let's give us a prediction.
this is the Brad Pitt thing. All right,
Yeah.
so I know Brad Pitt's in it.
fuck, Why'd you tell him?
Well,
that
I
it was
just
a
know
Brad
I
Pitt
just
movie?
know Brad Pitt is
I
in
didn't
it.
know.
It's an action movie on a train. Brad Pitt is in it. I think he fights everyone on the train. I think it's Fight Club, but on a train. It's Fight Train. I don't know. Is
Do you know
Brad
what
Pitt in
Fight
Fight
Club's
Club?
about?
I don't know what Fight Club's about. We don't talk about Fight Club, Mike.
Should I change my pick to Fight Club?
Listen,
Double feature.
I have never seen movies before, so again, the three of you have the ability to basically curate my movie viewing, and you have chosen to give me some picks. We'll just say that. So Bullet Train. I don't know what it's about. Brad Pitt fights people. It's an action movie.
I don't know what we're supposed to pick for Brendan though. Like, I
You
don't
can pick
know.
whatever you want. I don't listen.
No, I know.
Because if we picked Fight Club, he'd hate it. So
Probably, I don't know. Listen, I have watched all these movies in timely fashion. I've watched them all. I want you to pick movies that you like or that you have never seen and want to see and want everyone to watch.
You want me to pick a Marvel movie, and I just won't do it.
I don't think we've ever picked a Marvel movie, nor will we.
Yeah, I think we've all watched them.
No, I'm just honestly shocked. Dom is doing what Dom is doing. Mike sometimes.
I'm gonna pick the Snyder cut of Justice League next.
Jesus,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
worse
gonna-
than a double
There you go.
feature.
No,
That's
I don't
worse than a
know.
double
Okay.
feature.
My next year is gonna be only films that are over 3 hours.
Yikes.
Wait, what's the movie? There's a movie coming out that's over 3 hours. What is it? Oh, Avatar is like 3.5 hours long.
Is it?
Or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
terrible.
ridiculous.
No one's
Perfect.
ever seen
We'll
it.
do a double
Yeah,
feature.
right.
We'll do a double
Yeah,
feature.
Yeah, we gotta
Avatar
watch
and
them all.
The Way of Water.
We gotta watch them all. Dom's doing his silly thing. Mike sometimes has some sleeper picks that are good. I don't know what Mike's real kind of mood is with this. The thing that blows me away is that
Bro,
I
you're in
always
the
think
minority
Todd
for the
is a
movies I
movie
pick.
guy. No,
Listen-
all the movies that you pick that you say are like great movies. A lot of them, I'm just like, yeah.
So a lot of these movies I picked too are like movies that like I really like horror movies or like movies like that. So I'm just trying to like see if to break through on anyone if I can get anyone.
Mike
to
and
like
I
one of
don't
these
like horror
movies.
movies. You're not gonna make us like horror movies. It's not gonna change.
That's
Like
fine. But
you've already
but
picked
I'm
multiple stressful movies and they have not hit.
well, I mean,
with
like,
either of
for
us.
you,
They haven't hit for
guys,
Mike.
No, I'm saying okay, cool, but for Mike, but like in general, like you guys are in the minority in these movies.
I mean, we'll get there because that's actually not the case with the second movie, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Because I think that you're going to see whatever. Welcome to this fucking episode. We're going to talk about fucking Barbarian for some reason. So last chance. If you haven't watched the movie, this is your chance to bow out because we're going to talk about this movie.
This is one of those films that if you plan to watch this film at any point in time, don't listen to this podcast.
Yeah. Yes. I would say
Going blind.
echo those sentiments 100%. This movie would benefit from you not knowing anything about it. Because I think if you knew anything about it, you wouldn't want to fucking watch it anyway. But that's besides the fucking point. Anyways, as we always do with these episodes, we will start things off with, of course, the box office. So this budget was a cool... Doesn't say the budget. So
Oh, really?
I don't know what the budget is.
I think it was 4.5. I just looked at it.
There you go, 4.5. Where do you think this ended worldwide, boys?
I think this did pretty well. With a budget of $4.5 million.
I'll double check that right now. Hold on. I was just looking at it.
I know it did well. I think it had very good word of mouth.
I don't know if it did that
budget,
well.
Literally,
4.5 million.
with that budget, literally like 100 would be a good return. I think that's normal. I think that might be actually pretty high. Let me say 80.
Okay, Mike says 80. Todd.
I'm gonna say 70.
Okay. Dom.
I can't play.
It's fucking cheating,
You know,
He just looked
motherfucker.
at the budget. He's
Cool. Well, if you thought that 100 was good, Mike, and 80 was just as good, and Todd thought 70 was something, no, it did 45. So it still did a lot over its budget, but
yeah.
I mean,
It's a horror film. Horror films don't make 100 million.
Some of them do.
I
Well,
mean,
but,
we can literally pull up other movies we have done on this show before that have
I think there's a lot of
done better.
I don't know if there was a lot of marketing done for this movie, because I found out about it after it had already been out. But I don't know. I mean, with a $4.5 million budget, then I'm sure there wasn't a lot of marketing around it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rated R horror movie. I mean, it is what it is. It's going to do what it's going to do. But, I mean, there are very clearly other horror movies that do much better than this. But that's not what we're here to really dive into. So,
it was the 6th highest box office for a horror movie this year.
I mean, that sounds pretty high, but for all I know, only 6 horror movies came out this year. I know it didn't. But
No,
it could.
there's a lot, and some of the movies on here had like a lot more
a huge buzz
press behind them.
Mhm.
Like the other movie that we're doing today is up here, and then Smile, which I feel like I see ads for every time I put the TV on.
Same.
Yeah, Smile had good word of mouth,
Yeah.
or at least it seemed like it was getting good word of mouth.
The Black Phone, Scream, like those are all films that got a ton of money.
Did Scream do well?
It was like 4th or 5th on that list.
Okay.
So that brings us to the Rotten Tomato score. What do you think this tomato meter was an audience meter?
I already know what this is, so
This
I'll bow out
fucking,
of this.
guy, we do the same fucking thing every month, and we're looking up
No,
fucking
I
looking
knew
up
about
metrics.
this. I knew about this beforehand.
Mike, what do you got?
I'm gonna say, I want to say they're both 80s and 90s. I just couldn't tell you. Let's say 92 for critic and 89 for audience.
Okay, Dom.
I was gonna do 90 for both, anyways. I was gonna say 90.
All right, well, Mike fucking bullseyed the tomato at a 92, but both incorrect on the audience score at 71. So Todd cheated.
I feel like this movie was definitely divisive, I think, because I think it's one of those ones where you either liked it or you fucking hated it completely.
I also feel like we had said earlier, the movie experience definitely changes if you've already heard anything about the movie.
Oh, 100%, yes. Yeah. It basically ruins the movie, I think.
I mean, I don't know about ruins the movie, but
I feel like part of the to start getting into the movie, like the part where it literally just switches to Justin Long,
yeah,
where it's like it switches to a completely different story. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah. I mean that.
If I had known any of that going in, then I would have I feel like the movie would have been, I don't know, tarnished, I guess.
So
yeah, no, I think it worked off of like the whole ambiguity of it, like.
yeah, I mean, I think this whole movie. So we'll just fucking dive right in then. This whole movie, I think the whole thing is predicated on, we're gonna continue to make you think this is gonna happen, and then it's not gonna be the thing you think it's gonna be, and that's like the premise of the backbone of this fucking film. And after a while, I was just like, okay, cool, I'm great. I'm not. These aren't like clever twists in my head. These are just like, cool. You're just trying to purposely subvert my expectation, and like, yeah, you got me at the beginning when I thought that fucking Keith was clearly this guy, he's fucking creep. He's gonna fucking murder her. Oh, clearly.
I don't know. As soon as I came into this movie and Bill Skarsgård was there, I'm like, there's no way Bill Skarsgård is the bad guy in this movie.
Same. I thought they were laying it on too thick. I was like, there's no way they're like, it's this guy. I'm like, this is definitely like a.
If Bill Skarsgård is the villain in this movie, then this is too.
He's just
obvious.
getting typecast.
This is
He's
too
getting
obvious.
typecast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they fucking he played a creepy fucking weirdo in this film. Like,
I think that's just him.
I guess,
Just
but
You know what? You know what his next.
And
movie
he was
is?
he was trying
Character.
his best. He was trying his best. He was like, "Listen, I'm trying not to be weird right now. Like, I understand this is a weird situation. I'm really trying to make this right because clearly this was outside of our control."
yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, part of me was like, okay, they're clearly setting this up that like they're either this is clearly the villain or they're gonna flip it and it's not gonna be that. But they keep like towing that line of like, well, what's going on? Oh, he's being real nice to her. Oh, I'm gonna open the bottle of wine in front of you, like stuff like that. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And then, it flips. She finds the basement, and then I'm like, okay, is it still gonna be that? And then when the guy's like, no, I really want to go down there. You should just stay here. I'm like, okay, this guy's definitely gonna fucking murder her down there or something, because no one wants to see that. Like, I'm sorry. If I'm staying in this weird place and someone's like, we got to get the fuck out of here, really weird shit in the basement, my next thought isn't, no, I want to go check it out. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? And then when it flips to Justin Long's character, it's like, immediately I was like, okay, so he's clearly some sort of Hollywood person or makes movies or TV shows or something. Was the first half of this movie a TV show or a movie? And now I'm like, what's going on now? And then you clearly find out, no, that's he owns that property, and it's a fucking all this other shit going on. I don't know. The movie was not good. I'm sorry. I don't think it was clever. I don't think the acting was that good in the film. I don't have a lot of good things to say about the movie. So I'm hoping that Todd's fucking grand master strokes of how he thinks this movie's incredible is going to change my mind in any way.
I mean, I'm not trying to change your mind. To me, this was just a fun movie to watch. Like, I'm looking
this was
for
fun to you?
I'm looking for like a unique
I thought it was
experience.
a fun movie to watch too.
I'm looking for like a unique experience when I can only watch so many fucking Marvel movies. I can only watch so many period pieces or dramas about the fucking same backstory to like a band. This is like
this was unique to you?
Movie
I don't think this was unique.
Yeah, it's just like a fun ride. Like, it wasn't like you even said you didn't know where this fucking movie was going the whole time. And
but I think that's what. Yeah, no, and I get that, but I think that's what all this movie did successfully was not letting you maybe pin it down right away. I don't think it did. I don't think. Clearly, most horror movies, I think, usually deal with some heavy-handed themes underneath, and this one clearly deals with like themes about women,
abuse towards women. Yeah.
but I don't think it did it in I think there are other things that I have either played or watched that handle those types of themes smarter and more cohesively. Not that this movie is not trying to this is what it's trying to do, but that's clearly what some of the things that are built up here are supposed to be standing for. I didn't really. I don't know. Someone else fucking talk. Mike, what did you think of this fucking movie? I don't like this movie. I'm not going to say anything nice about it. Nope. When we talk about Nope, it'll be a much different conversation. But Barbarian, I didn't care.
I literally got halfway through this movie and texted Todd and was like, I'm enjoying this film. Brenden is going to absolutely hate this movie.
Bad movie?
Literally halfway. No, not bad movie. You don't like this movie.
Well, it just comes down to that. When I saw Scream for the first time in movies, I think I was 16 and snuck in to see Scream. It was the greatest experience. Now, this movie is not Scream, so I'm not.
Brenden, you've seen Scream, right? The original Scream.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen the first three of them.
I'm not saying this movie is as good as Scream because it's not, but
no, but it has that similar you think
twist,
you know what's going on.
Yeah. And I remember just walking out and I was like, fuck yeah. I've finally, I can figure out because I feel like I can figure out every movie. I feel like I'm oh, I've seen every movie. You can't fucking surprise me. So I do like when there's now, I don't think this is the greatest movie ever made. I think it's a fun little weird kind of movie that I would probably get people to watch, but I mean, I don't know.
Listen,
but I don't think the movie's for everyone. So I completely get.
Here's the thing, is that you pick a movie like this. You pick a movie like Prisoners. You pick a movie like Hereditary. You are already fighting an uphill battle for me and Mike to enjoy it. So that's strike one.
Depressing shit. That's
it's fine. I'm not you like what you like. I'm just saying and I am happy to dip my feet into these things and try them. I mean, listen, I never played Last of Us for a fucking reason. It didn't seem like my jam. Played Last of Us in 2020 for the first time. Holy shit, I love Last of Us. Love Last of Us 2. We'll probably never play that game again because I'm good with that experience for myself again. But it is possible for me to enjoy something that I typically would not enjoy. But you got to understand it's got to be fucking masterclass. It's got to be.
I don't think so. I think
For me to
like,
enjoy it, I think so.
No, but so like I've almost picked Ready or Not once or twice. I think before that's like the exact same style movie as this movie, except like way less like graphic and everything. It's more like it's like
I don't even think this movie's that graphic. The graphic moments I didn't watch because they were like
no, but
gratuitous
like,
and
with,
didn't
like,
need to exist.
There's like no monsters or anything like that in fucking Ready or Not. And there's another movie I forget what it's called, but same style. And like I don't think these are the best movies ever, but these are movies like that. Like I just think they're fun to watch. I find them funny. You know, like it's kind of pop in, quick little watch, and
Yeah, Mike.
It was a movie built on a $4.5 million budget, and like I thought for a $4.5 million budget, it was like a good movie.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even think you have to like. put
But
the
I
budget
might
into
like
it,
the
though.
budget is not what is the thing for me on this movie. Like I don't need like special effect. Like I don't know what the point of the budget coming up is supposed to tip the argument in any way.
I don't know, more well-known actors for you. I don't.
No, I mean I think the lead actress Georgina Campbell was fine.
She was good.
Yeah,
I thought she was good.
I mean Justin Long was fine.
I think Justin Long wasn't even his first choice. I forget who he wanted to get for that part initially, but it was somebody else.
I mean, the thing with Justin Long is that like his character, like which you're obviously not supposed to like in any way, is a fucking scumbag, and it's like, cool, I'm good with
They make it like you don't. They make it like you don't know if you're gonna like him or not at first. So because they like
you don't know if you're gonna like him. His first conversation is like, "What did she say? I raped her." Like, what do you mean you don't know if you like him? What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm saying like, does she? You don't know like how much of a bad guy he is till later. Like you don't know if it was like he was like set up or something, you know, or anything like that. So like I was
really the first thing he's doing is singing a song, and like I can relate to that.
Singing what
the
song?
First conversation he has is about
with his like guy, right? With his lawyer or whatever, or like his agent.
On the phone in the car. Yes. No.
Like
the studio is the first scene of him in the movie is talking about. What did she say? I raped her. That's the first thing that he does in the film.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, is this guy like set up or is it like real? Or I didn't know if it was real or not. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think the movie makes it very clear very quickly that he's a scumbag.
Oh, I feel like it does more towards the end, especially because like when he fucking shoots, like not like just to jump right to that part, but like when he shoots her, like I wasn't like expecting him to be like a super dirtbag, you know, like.
Well, no, that's like the one thing he did. That was one thing he legitimately did by accident. I think that was just really unfortunate.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Involved.
When he threw her over the side, though.
Did Mike just freeze for everyone else?
Yeah, he's pixelating a little bit.
I am.
Yeah. And your audio's cutting in and out.
I'll just do that. Hold on a second.
I think. Yeah, him shooting her in the basement. Fucking cavern area was not on purpose for him to shoot her. But before any of that shit even happens, he goes to the bar and meets his buddy, and admits that he was like raped the girl.
Oh, did he? Actually, I can't remember.
His character is flat out established as a scumbag from the onset forward, and
I think the beginning puts the question in your mind, like, is this guy as big of a scumbag as we think he is?
So sure.
And then slowly throughout the movie, he builds his case against himself.
I mean, yes, he does add on to it, but it jumps from let's innocent until proven guilty. He's accused of something, but then immediately he's at the bar talking about it with his friend.
And he's like, it's not as bad as she says it is, or whatever he says. And then he like calls her when he gets home from the bar, and he's like, and like slowly you're like, wait, it's not as bad as she says it is. And then he gets home and he calls her, and I forget what he says, but I'm like, well, what the fuck are you talking about now? Like,
I mean,
he's like, if I did anything that you think is like that bad, then like I'm sorry. Like it slowly like gets worse, like the more he talks about it, I guess.
I didn't know if they were like laying it in thick with that too, the way they were with the kid at the beginning, because like I thought it was pretty obvious that the kid at the beginning wasn't going to be the bad guy, Skarsgård. So like I didn't know if they were like trying to like misdirect me too. Like I don't know. Yeah.
So you thought the way that they were setting up Justin Long at the beginning of his part of the movie was they were laying it on too thick and he wasn't going to be a shitty person?
I don't know. I didn't know what to think, to be honest with you, because after the first part, after the whole first,
when we're done, sometime point this week, just skip to the movie and watch him talk to his friend at the bar. It is very clear that he raped the girl. Like, it's fucking seven alarms. Like, very clear he is a scumbag. Like, that for me, the whole movie then becomes, this motherfucker better die. And when he kept not dying and getting out of situations, I'm like, this guy needs to fucking die. And I think that's the only thing the movie does right, is the end of the movie, where I'm like, when he throws her off and the fucking monster jumps down and he goes over to them, it's like, okay, cool. I guess I'm not surprised that, like, he ends up fucking still, the dirtbag ends up ruining other people's lives over and over again, a vicious cycle. Even when he has a maybe moment where he's in the homeless area with that dude, like in that, like, whatever, water tower or something, whatever area they went to, where, oh, she's not going to come here. And he's like, sort of, maybe I'm a shitty person. Maybe I'm not a shitty person. Like, he has this very, very small flicker of, am I actually a bad person? And this is like, okay, I need to change. And then immediately, no, it's not me. It's everyone else.
I feel like he had a couple of those throughout the movie, where he, like,
I don't know
when the guy goes to shoot himself, he tries to stop him. When the father goes to shoot himself, he tries to stop him.
I think that was simply, I don't want him to make noise and this monster come get me. I think that's all that was.
I don't know. I feel like there were a couple points in the movie where I was like, is he, like, trying to redeem himself? And then literally it would be like instantly like, oh yeah, he's just a fucking scumbag.
Yeah. There were, I don't know, when he kept getting out of the scenarios, like, fucking Keith seemingly gets immediately fucking murdered down there. Like, that monster has no problem just fucking bashing his head against the wall. Meanwhile, this dude's running around the fucking caves, falls in the pit, refuses to drink the milk. She's still fucking, like, isn't just killing this guy. He's being fucking coddled and nurtured. It kept reinforcing to me the theme that I think they're partially talking about, is like, privileged men don't have to deal with consequences, even though that, like, the girl is like, hey, when she fucking comes down here, you fucking don't freak out, just do what she says, all the stuff. And he's still pushing back against that, where Keith didn't have that option, because he wasn't, like, the privileged man. He was, you know, wasn't he like an art like a cinema person? Wasn't he like I think
he was in a band.
Yeah, he was not the privileged guy. He was still a guy, but he was the, you know, not the fucking whatever. I can get my way out of every scenario for being a privileged guy. And I fucking, I don't know. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I like what they did with how, you know, they kind of flip it around on you and show you, you know, both sides of what's it called? Like you see how, like, a woman reacts to this, and then you see how an overconfident man reacts when he goes down to with the tape measure and it's just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. You know, this is my house, more square footage, baby. You know, like, and it's like where the woman's all, like, careful and everything. This dude's just like a overconfident, cocky.
They both guys went into the situation extremely confident, and she was the only one who's like, hey, listen, this is bad. We should go. And they're like, no. I got this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna go deeper into the deep cavern thing. There's a room in the basement with a bed and a camera?
To be fair, even the homeless guy was, like, pretty overconfident. Like, yeah, come in here. She'll never come in here.
Yeah, right.
In his defense, he did have 15 years of experience. And as soon as he said, I've been here for 15 years, she's never come this motherfucker, I'm like, well, he's obviously gonna die.
Right.
I mean, the fact that, like, the guy, Keith, who is staying there, it's like, he had seemingly at least no on-screen qualms with being in an area that was clearly abandoned beside this one house. Whereas in the daytime, the first night there, she comes out of the house and she's, like, observing her surroundings, like, whoa, maybe I shouldn't be here. And then when she has the job interview, the other woman in the film is like, you should not be there. Like, you need to get the fuck out of there.
To be fair, Keith explained why he was there. He was like looking for their like art group's next like they like live in like weird like rundown areas, and he was like
so
looking
it
for
makes
their
sense
next.
for him to.
He talked about why he was in that like area.
Um,
But yeah, you're right. Like literally the only other woman, besides
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 the
mother,
other thing.
um, the only other woman in the movie was like, yeah, don't go back there. Like, stay like far away from that area.
Right.
I don't know, Mike. I feel like you didn't get to say how you feel about this film over broadly. What are your thoughts?
He hasn't stopped texting me about how much he liked it, like privately. I'm like, bro,
I'm just like,
relax.
Todd, this movie is amazing. It's turned me over a new leaf. I love this genre. I love everything about it. Give me more of your picks. I need more straight. Give me like the little bottle with hair hanging down of all your picks to feed me. That's what I want. Yeah, so I've been trying to wrap my head around this because I think there are things there in the movie. And I think, and this was like the same thing I probably said for Hereditary, is that like there are interesting ideas, and like I think it's doing things maybe well. The problem is that because of the genre and like the certain tropes that are associated with the genre, I can never get fully into it. So like if the same movie existed, I don't know if it would work. If the same movie existed without like the tension and the few moments of like,
Do you feel like
murder and gore.
After the first half, did like the tension subside though? Like were you just kind of like, eh?
Well, when it got to the Justin Long part, like when it was just like super chill, I was like, all right, I need to during this quote unquote downtime, I need to figure out what the fuck is going on. So like I was sitting there trying to like make sense of things.
Yeah, but did the tension ever disappear when it got to the Justin Long part? Because at that point, you already know that there's a fucking monster there, and the other two people are missing. Well, one of them is probably dead, and the other person is missing.
Well, I think
so, like, I don't know if the tension disappears.
I think initially I was in the same boat as you, where like, okay, this guy's a Hollywood person. Was the previous thing part of like a movie? Is that like the big flip? So like that was going on.
That part, okay, gotcha, yeah.
That part, and then they mentioned the whole thing about Detroit and like the property there. I'm like, okay, so he's connected to the house that they were staying at, and then he got to the house, and then I was trying to think of like I was like really thinking about like, is this like a time thing where like maybe a couple of them are ghosts? Like how long ago? What's the time difference between those two characters in Justin Long's part? Like it something that happened years ago, and it was a whole thing. I was thinking about that entire time, but it wasn't until like he got back into the basement where I was like, all right, now I'm on edge again. What's gonna happen? But that's beside the point. The point is that I think my feelings about the movie are, tarred by the fact that I don't like the genre and like the certain things that are involved in the genre. So like, I'm not saying the movie is bad. I'm just saying that I could not get myself into the place where like, oh yeah, this is really good, because I was consistently like just worried, because I don't like getting scared. And getting scared could just be like a jump scare. Like I'm like, I don't want to be surprised. So that being said, if you remove those elements from the movie, if I could watch that same movie without all those things, I don't know if it would work without those things. I think I would watch and be like, oh yeah, that was really good. I like the themes and the blah 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 and all that stuff. So I'm not saying I didn't like the movie. I'm saying I clearly wouldn't have chosen to watch the movie, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around what the movie was actually saying.
I think the movie is grappling with the concepts of like man versus women in certain types of like
I think those are the things. Like I was trying to think like, because ultimately I don't think Keith was a bad person. I think he was just someone that just had to die to put forward the point. So putting that aside, I think I get the rest, and I think there's something to be said about like the one person that, well, there were a couple people that actually tried to help, but like the one person that tried to help, I don't know the main character's name actually. Keith, it was AJ. Here. What's the girl's name?
Tess.
The one person, well, one of the people that tried to help Tess was Mother, and Tess like shot her in the head. It's like, hey, listen, like I saved your life. Hey, let's just go back home. She's like, yeah. And then
Yeah, see this
and then
like
she shot him in the head.
Mm-hmm.
I forget why I brought that up. I think it was like one of those things. I'm like, okay, this is a message of some sort, or like this is part of like the themes or whatever.
Yeah, and that just runs with like the whole thing is like Mother's not like really the bad person in that movie.
Mother's
Mother's
not
like
really the
like
bad person. She's like the product of like other bad things happening, but like she's
she never had a chance. She just wanted a baby. That's it. And she was willing to just get shot in the head. She didn't care. She just wanted a baby.
She was like almost. She was like bred to have a child. Like she doesn't know anything else.
She was bred to have a child, and I think I'm assuming one of the only things she got to watch was that one tape that the guy bought in the
and she lives in a fucking cave.
Yeah.
And I feel like almost like the men are the barbarians in that movie. Like it's not the women. It's like that's who I don't know if that's what they're going for, but like that's like I feel like that's I don't know. I would actually like to know what the meaning of the title is because I have no fucking clue.
Barbary Street.
Oh yeah.
Because they're on what?
Barbary.
They live on Barbary Street.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I also don't hate the interpretation of like the men or the barbarians because again, I think that all of the men in this film, to different degrees, are very action forward. I don't know, the true villain that kills himself. I don't know if that character has a name.
He does. So.
Oh yeah, maybe
the guy, and when you go into like the past and like the guy's talking to his neighbor, they do say his name. It's not the name that's on the.
No, the name Carlos is not his name.
Is his name Frank?
Maybe, yeah.
Frank.
But regardless, like I was gonna say that a majority of the male characters in this are like very going into scenarios seemingly not using their brain and being more just do. But Frank, clearly well thought out to, I'm assuming, create this underground cavern, break into people's homes, and kidnap all these women to do all this weird fucking shit. Because that's what's going on, right? He's kidnapping these women and like putting them in these cages in the basement.
Seemingly,
I think he's like raping women.
Yeah,
and, like,
he's trying to stop like his neighborhood from falling apart.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he's trying to do. I don't think that's what he's trying to do.
Well, no, because he keeps saying like I'm going to stay here, I'm not. They're not forcing me to leave, or whatever he said to the neighbor.
Yeah, well, we all know why he's staying. Because he has a fucking underground cavern of caged women.
I was under the impression that was the first time. Like we were watching him start that.
Oh, maybe.
Right.
Well, I don't know if it's the first time so much as he'd gone to the grocery store or like the pharmacy to get something. Because I assume the woman that he had already that we never saw must have been getting ready to give birth. That's what I assume.
Yeah, I
also. Okay, you're right.
I also think the reason that people are leaving is because women are being abducted. So then when he's like, "I'm leaving. I don't want this to happen to my family or whatever."
I'll be honest. I thought it was since it's that
time.
area of Detroit. I thought it was like a race thing.
Maybe, I don't know. I just assumed it was because women were being abducted. Clearly, that was happening. They didn't like show him abduct a bunch of women, but that's clearly what was going on when you go into that room downstairs and there's
the dude was obviously a scumbag.
Yeah, so. a cabinet of tapes. And that's the other thing too, when Justin Long's character is confronted with a very extreme version of what he did, he can recognize that it is bad because he turns around and says like, "You're a fucking monster" or whatever to the guy.
Yeah.
But it still does not change him. It does not make him reconcile with his own actions. He just sees someone else who he can blame as being a bad person.
He sees someone else doing what he typically thinks as like a bad thing, and he doesn't recognize that what he did was also a bad thing. So like that small moment of clarity where he's like, did I do something bad, or am I a bad person? Am I a good person who did a bad thing? And when he said that, he was talking in relation to like him shooting Tess, right?
I don't know. I think it was a general moment of like an epiphany.
He might have connected the two events.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, he's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm a bad person. Maybe I'm just a good person that did a bad thing. Yeah, and then he immediately turned around on that.
But I will also throw out there again, this movie, which I think all this movie did was, we're gonna continue to try to make you think something's gonna happen or subvert your expectations. And again, I don't think in necessarily a clever way, but when he gets the gun and that guy's dead and she goes back inside to save him, the whole time I'm like, he's gonna fucking shoot her. He's gonna fucking kill her right now.
Definitely.
And I was so fucking mad that he shot her. I'm happy that she again did not die, but when that happened, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this movie's fucking stupid. Also, why the fuck is she going back in there? Like, she's the only person that realizes she shouldn't go fucking back in there. She didn't want to go in there to begin with. Like, she did not choose to go in there for so fucking long.
Yeah, look at how many things happened to her too, though. I think she's like representing women's trauma. Like, look at how over and over again, like getting back, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, from
I
every
didn't
single element.
I didn't catch her saying this, but after I watched the movie, like unrelated to actually watching the movie, I stumbled across a couple of things that were talking about the film, and I think one of the things she said was like she basically keeps going back to like help men that have basically hurt her in some way.
I think she says it to Keith at the beginning. She's talking about her like ex-boyfriend or boyfriend. Like, she says like, it's not over yet, but like, I can't keep going back or something.
Yeah. So like she consistently goes back to help people, and like she went back to help Keith because like I think she really likes Keith, and then she went back to help AJ because
she's a good person.
Basically, she's just a good person. She's like, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help, and like it keeps coming back to bite her in the ass. Yeah.
So and again, I think that's what the messages of this movie is dealing with. Whether it's like the overt stuff that's being said out loud or whatever, the themes I think are dealing with those types of things. I just think that, and not all of it, but I think in some scenarios it doesn't handle it like.
Whatever, but like I'll tell you this, one of the reasons why I wanted to do a double feature is because I didn't necessarily want this to be my pick, but I thought this movie would be fun after I watched it for everyone to watch and kind of like not go into it blind and just fucking, because I thought for me it was a good time, like I welcome experiences like this where like I'm seeing something different, even though it's not like completely different, but it's a different kind of take on something that's done way too much and overplayed out. And there's so many horror movies that come out every year, and there's like usually like a shit ton of that are really bad, but then every once in a while there's like a couple good ones.
We're getting a Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Right.
We're getting a horror movie. We're getting a Grinch horror movie. Like, yes, there are a lot of bad horror movies.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. I'll do what I said before because
just watch it again. Right.
I think that. I think something like Hereditary is overly praised, and I don't think that it is as objectively good, in my opinion, as people make it seem. This movie, I don't think was that great at all. Prisoners, I have some major issues with that movie, but I can, even though, and I personally did not enjoy it, I can take a step back from my own opinion and see the merits that film has as being a film. Even though it's a film for a plot that I did not enjoy, tension that I did not enjoy, scenes that were really fucking terrible that I don't like. Sure, if you don't want to hear me say anything about Prisoners, skip 15 seconds. I don't need to personally sit down and watch a movie about children being abducted and then someone being tortured. I just don't. I don't need to spend my time doing that. So like, but I can still look at that movie, removing my own personal tastes, and see the merits through that. I see a lot less of that with this movie. That's my take on it. I don't know. Anyone else got anything to say about fucking this shitty fucking movie before we move on?
I thought it was not funny, but the end when she like runs up to the cops and they're like, just get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Classic cop.
Yep.
Classic cops.
Did any of you know
don't want to help.
Before or after that Zach Kreger made this movie?
I didn't know until after. I didn't know until after.
I didn't.
Like
I may have looked it up while I was watching because at one point I was like, what is going on with Mother? So I had to like look up to see if it was some other actor in the movie, and I forget who it is. It's a guy.
But yeah, I thought after I saw that it was him, I'm like, oh, it's kind of. I don't know if Todd did this on purpose, but for him to pick 2 horror films directed by
Comedic
people
guys.
who had backgrounds in comedy.
Well, so Todd said is not familiar with the way
I've
Kids
never
which
heard of those guys.
I'm shocked by because that seems like a Todd thing to know.
Yeah.
But when I brought up to someone that we had to watch these 2 movies, and when I brought up this one specifically, that is who told me about the director because I didn't recognize his name when I watched the movie. But another one of his movies, excuse me, that
Miss March.
Yes. How the fuck? What? Mike,
What's
what the
Because
fuck?
again, like after I watched the movie, completely unrelated to like the film itself, I ended up stumbling across a couple things, and yeah, they talked about Miss March. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, I was then referred
Is it a good
to
movie?
the person that said
No.
they said it's a good movie. They said we should pick it at some point. Have you seen it, Mike?
No, I don't think so. It might have been on Comedy Central. It might have been on TV at some point. I might have seen parts of it, but I also might be confusing it with like a different film.
Miss March.
In any case,
The synopsis: After 4 years in a coma, Eugene Pratt is going to be reunited with his high school sweetheart on page 95 to 97. He's in a coma for 4 years, and he wakes up and she's in Playboy. I don't know. He said it was a funny movie. So there's that. I guess if you like, I don't know if you like Barbarian, you'll like this movie, but it's a if you like Zach Krager, you're gonna like that movie, I guess.
I think it's a very absurd movie from what I understand. So like,
Yeah. Anyways, so that'll I guess wrap it up on Barbarian. I think a lot of times with some of these movie picks, I come in a little hot and I come in and I end up leaving the episode feeling a little bit more appreciative of the film we just chatted about. I don't feel that way with this movie. I apologize. I just don't. I don't think it was that good. It's not cinema. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that fucking. I'm sorry.
It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster.
Sorry, Magneto wasn't in the movie, dude. I'm sorry, fucking.
Well, Mike and I talked about this when she escapes the fucking first time, and she goes out, and the homeless guy says something along the lines to her like, she's not even the worst thing in there or whatever.
Yep.
I understand two things. I understand that, like, yes, knowing everything as the person watching this film, I could look at the fact that, yes, the guy down there is actually the villain and is the bad thing and all this stuff. As the viewer of the film at that point, though, I am now expecting something worse to happen in this movie for the rest of the fucking movie, and that never happens. So I'm happy that didn't happen, but it fucking stressed me out and pissed me off for the rest of the movie because I was expecting... I don't know.
Really?
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I was at no point expecting a monster in this movie. Like, I was just expecting this to be a weird, suspenseful, I'm going to murder you in this house, not like there's a fucking monster in this weird cavern. Like, when she discovers the thing in the basement, I share the same thing of like, this is not what I'm expecting this shit to happen right now. Like, I am good with not going down there. I don't need this fucking shit. And she doesn't, she's like, again, thought it was funny because our double feature was Nope. She stands there when she opens the door and she stares down the dark hallway and she goes, nope. And then sits on the fucking stairs because she's locked in the basement. Yeah, no, I'm fucking good with that.
Mother was the result of inbreeding, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed like this guy kidnapped people and then
kept a monster, but she's just. I mean, she is a monster, but she's just a result of Frank or whatever his name is.
Yeah, like
Frank is the monster.
If you want to split hairs, that's fine, but like
I wanted to cut her some slack.
Yeah. No, Frank is the monster. That is Frank
is the monster, but through years of inbreeding, you eventually get like a woman who can burst through walls, Kool-Aid Man style.
Yeah. Well, I hated that scene of the movie.
Yeah, it was the best scene in the movie.
When he's like, "Oh, she'd never come in here," and then, boom. Like, what is this fucking movie? And also, I'll rip your arm off. Like, what is going on here?
And she ripped a man in half.
Wait, who did she rip in
Yeah, I
half?
remember that. Justin Long. She like grabbed him.
Oh,
held him in the eyes, and then like split him open.
Oh, I just as soon as I started to see goo, like his eyes pop out. Nope, I don't need to look at the screen anymore.
I figured because you
what?
thought he
Oh,
was a
you didn't even
scumbag, you would
watch
like
the
sit
movie.
around and watch his demise.
You probably would have liked it if you watched that part.
Oh yeah,
No,
that's
like,
what's gonna
fair,
get me.
not even
That's
a
what's
fair
gonna get me.
review.
That was the key.
That was
No, because when I asked Jen if she wanted to watch either of these movies with me, she looked up what they were, like more synopsis wise, because she wanted to see if she would want to watch them, because she also doesn't care for these types of movies. And the internet describes Barbarian as very graphic. And again, the few scenes that are graphic are pretty graphic, but it's not like the whole movie, because of that, I was expecting gore all the time. And when it didn't show up until 43 minutes into the movie, I was like, okay, is the rest of this movie going to be like that, or what the fuck's going on? Because like when she bashes Keith's head against the fucking concrete, like it's like a close up of just fucking violent fucking head bashing. Yeah, I don't know. And then the other thing about the thing when I brought up with the guy saying she's not even the worst thing down there, how the fuck does he know?
So this is what I was just going to bring up. Is he a result of Frank as well? Like,
no,
why
I think
does
he
he
just lives in the
stay there?
neighborhood.
That was my question. Is like, what keeps him there?
The police.
I guess. I just like I watched that scene, and he had come back the second time and said, like, she's not even the worst thing in there, and I was like, how does he know that? Is he from there as well?
No, I think he's been living there for a while, and he's seen her come out at night to hunt for babies, I assume. I don't really know what she's hunting for.
Yeah, which I understand how he would see her come out to hunt for other humans. Clearly other people have stayed in that home too, so like there's that.
I guess he's aware of what Frank had been up to before. I don't know how. I can only imagine, and this is, how I've interpreted things for the film, is that Frank has been capturing these women and doing what he wants with them, having babies, doing what he wants with them, but only the female ones. I think they're probably just eating the guys. I don't think he's keeping boy babies around.
I mean, that's also possible. That is also possible. Because again,
there's no food down there.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. I think the way that Mother interacts with Tess compared to the other characters is very different on purpose. It's more nurturing, I think. But again, she also does try to nurse Justin Long, which I didn't need any of those fucking scenes.
When that scene came on, were you just like, what is happening right now?
No, like again, it's more of like,
I think that's the scene when I texted Todd and I was like, "There's no way Brendan's gonna like this movie."
Like
when
the two of them were in the pit, and Mother's dangling them down, and in my head I'm like, okay, to live in this scenario, I need to do that. There's like crusty hair curled around. Like I'm like, could I in that moment? Could I do that? Could I? I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I don't know if I could either.
I would projectile vomit the second I did it.
I mean, oh man, it's so bad. Anyway, anything else to say about this movie? I'm gonna throw up right now. Mike, you thirsty? You want some milk to go with those cookies?
Delicioso.
No, nothing.
No, I thought that was a good capper to this whole conversation.
You know who else the villain is? The fucking people that are renting out the apartment.
Right.
Yeah, what's up with them? Like, guys, get it together.
Or what about the cleaning service, who's just fucking taking a paycheck every week, but they're not actually going to the house?
I'm not going to the house. Yeah, this is the real villain is the system. It's systemic. The whole way down, everyone is dropping the ball.
Yep.
I mean, listen, landlords are villains too, so there's that.
Yeah, I think we cracked it.
Okay, so we're going to end this episode because I fucking hate it with a passion. But as we do with all these episodes, we don't play what's in the box. We play a little game we like to call fucking
What's in your socks? Let's go.
I don't know. Credit to you.
Okay, we'll keep workshopping that one.
I don't know what's a good name for this. I have no idea. Anyways, the scoreboard. Don
Why did
wasn't
Mike
here.
make this game up?
Don wasn't here
Mike
last
cheating?
week.
Did he make this game up?
Don wasn't here last week, so there was some opportunity for the boys here to climb the leaderboard, and they did.
You were talking about. Were you talking about the Crow as the next thing he's in? Skarsgård.
Is he
no,
in the Crow?
he's going to be in Nosferatu though. Like he's going to be in Eggers, the guy who did the Lighthouse.
No.
He's Eric. He's Eric Draven in the new Crow.
So
is he really? That's fucking great.
The scoreboard as it stands for the year, Dom is at 82.
The lead, Dom. Did you know that?
Dom is at 82. Todd is at 80. Mike is at 67. A couple of guest points on the board. So the way this game works now, a little bit different than what's in the box if you haven't listened to previous movie episodes. I'm going to read facts and stats and things about a movie, and I will just slowly reveal more information. The first person to get the movie correct gets the point. There's not necessarily a specific order in what I reveal. I just start revealing information, and as we keep going, if it needs a little bit more on the nose clues and hints, then we go that route. So, movie number 1. This 2014 rated R film. Incorrect. Has a runtime of an hour and 42 minutes.
It chapter 2.
Incorrect.
I have to. Can't leave that one on the table.
It should have been the first one if it was third.
Yeah.
You may recognize Harley Quinn Smith in this movie.
Yoga hosers?
Incorrect.
Did you say Tusk, Mike?
I did say Tusk.
It is indeed Tusk. Mike with the point.
I still never saw Yoga.
Cool 68. Film number 2. This 2007 PG-13 film is just over 2 hours long at 2 hours and 8 minutes.
What year again? Sorry.
2007. You do need the full title of this film. At least one actor in this movie has appeared in the Star Wars universe.
2007.
In a live action Star Wars.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't help at all. There's so many people.
Is it Shaun of the Dead?
Incorrect.
Did you enter what I said?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you, Mike.
I said Attack the Block.
Incorrect. You may also recognize Harley Quinn Smith's father in this film.
2007.
Clerks 2?
Incorrect. Yes, 2007.
Oh yeah, you're right. Would have been Clerks 2.
This movie.
Is it Die Hard 4?
It would be Die Hard 4 Die with Vengeance.
No.
Die with a Vengeance.
It is not.
Another Day? Wasn't there another one? Wait, first off, was Kevin Smith in those movies?
Which ones?
Any of the Die Hards?
Yeah, he's in the fourth one. He's like the hacker. He's like the main hacker dude who like Justin Long goes to.
It's the same.
I again am just going to say that you need to give me the full title of this film.
Oh, Live Free, Die Hard.
That's okay. That sounds better.
Sounds right.
Yes, Live Free or Die Hard. Todd gets the point. Yeah. When you said Die Hard 4, I'm like, I don't know what number movie this is.
Exactly
I don't
what it was,
know.
but like, yeah.
puts Todd at 81.
And I will say this: that movie is criminally underrated. I think I think it's way better than
Which
it's,
Star Wars
nothing
actors
after that
in
was
Timothy Oliphant.
Huh?
Oh no, Timothy Oliphant. Yeah.
it? Okay.
He's in Mando, right? That's who that
Yeah.
is? Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. This third movie is a 2006 PG-13 film coming in at just over an hour and 30 minutes.
What year was it again?
2006.
PG-13, you said?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Knocked Up.
Incorrect. That was on TV today.
Oh yeah, it was.
This director wrote a previous Todd pick this year.
This year or like at some point?
This year. Well, a movie that we watched this year that was one of your picks.
Gotcha.
I can't think of what his picks
I
were.
can't remember what I picked.
Yeah.
This is the end?
Incorrect.
What are my picks this year? Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I honestly
wouldn't
don't
be
know.
that. I thought of one of them, but I'm not going to give it away just in case. But it's not that. Fuck. Must have had some bad picks if I can't even think of any of them.
This
Miss March?
no.
I think Miss March was like 2003.
It doesn't matter. I just know that was
Doesn't
one of the
matter, yeah.
directors from this.
Fact.
This let's see who's in this movie. Let's take a peek. Let's take a little sneaky peek here. What do we got? You may recognize former Senator Louis Black in this film. Right? He's former senator? He's not a senator anymore, right? Didn't he step down when he got
Louis Black was a senator?
Am I thinking of a different SNL person?
Al Franken?
I'm thinking of Al
No.
Franken.
Who is
Yeah.
definitely not Louis Black?
Are they
Wait,
both
Louis
Yeah,
Black, I
comedians?
don't think was on SNL.
Yeah,
Is Louis Black a comedian?
He is.
Yeah.
He's a
Okay,
stand-up
yeah.
comedian.
I don't know. I'm just
He's on
confusing.
SNL.
I'm just confusing those two people then. But okay, yes.
Oh,
But Louis Black is in
wait.
the movie.
It's accepted.
It is indeed accepted.
Okay.
I was like,
What
all
is
right,
that?
Louis Black,
I-
Justin Long, accepted.
I already
I
knew
wouldn't
what
know because
I already knew what the lead through
seen that
was.
movie.
That's why I went Knocked Up first.
yeah,
Um,
I wouldn't know accepted because that movie came out when we were all going to college except for Todd, who had graduated from
what do you
college.
mean?
like,
That
12
movie.
months
That
prior.
movie.
Ask me about my wiener.
That
I've
movie.
never seen it.
That movie was written by Steve Pink, who did Gross Point Blank. Todd loves that movie. It has Justin Long, Jonah Hill. It's got some people in it that Todd loves.
Ask me about my wiener.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me about my wiener.
Blake Lively is in it.
I feel like the guy who like was in charge of the fraternity was somebody too. Let me look it up real quick.
I don't remember what character that was. I think Louis Black was like the principal
The
of
main
the school.
antagonist, I guess. Was it the main antagonist?
Anyways, yes, the through line was Justin Long movies. So
Yeah, I figured that out after the first one. I just got to fucking Tusk second.
there doesn't always need to be a through line, but I felt like doing it up with my boy J Long. So I remember
waiting for
I
his
remember
debut on
liking
Sequest.
Accepted when it came out in 2000 fucking whatever 6, but
I don't think I ever watched
Yeah.
them all.
I think it was on TV recently, and I put it on, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't need to watch this ever again for any reason. This is not a good movie. Anyways, that'll do it.
That was
Go
the
ahead.
style of comedy at the time. You know, that's how we did it.
I mean, not as many things hold up as, I haven't watched Superbad in so long, so I don't even know if I'd like Superbad. I kind of don't want
Oh,
to
you
watch it
definitely
because I
would.
want to just
Superbad's a
leave it as
classic.
like a happy memory in my
No,
head.
it's still good. It's still good.
I don't know, because I feel like I used to love Pineapple Express, and I feel like that was on TV
Still good.
recently, and I was like,
Oh,
it's
still
all right.
good.
I don't
I
know.
love that movie
don't know.
too.
I'm a
But
big
that movie
fucking
was
jazz
amazing,
cabbage guy,
you know?
though. Give me a
Yeah,
jazz
I was gonna
cigarette,
say,
and I'm fucking light me up, baby. Light me up. Anyways, that'll do it for this week's episode, this first episode, 346. So, yeah, we'll be back momentarily with Nope. Follow us on fucking everything and leave us a review. We love you. Thanks.